As I'm joined on the desk by cartoonist extraordinaire Johannes. Great to see you, Johannes.
You too, mate.
And Alex Ryvchin, who's the CEO of the Executive Council of Australian Jewry. Great to see you again, Alex. Look, I talk to both of you guys all the time. I don't get to see you together and on the desk.
That's right.
And the reason is, as you may have read in a wonderful piece a couple of weeks ago by Claire Harvey in The Australian, is that Johannes painted this magnificent portrait of Alex and entered it in the Archibald prize competition at the New South Wales Art Gallery. Johannes, tell us first up why you chose Alex for this portrait.
Well, I think probably like a lot of people, Alex came to my attention through his appearances in print and on the TV in the wake of the October 7 atrocities as such a powerful, passionate and an impressive advocate for his community and for Jews in general in Israel and in Australia. And I just thought this man has courage. He's just terrific, and so I thought, what a wonderful subject he'd made, and what a face too, you know.
Thank you. And of course, the topic could hardly be any more relevant than those sorts of issues and anti-Semitism in this country. Alex, so you would have got the call for this sitting. What did you think? Did you hesitate at all about sitting for a portrait like this?
There was no hesitation at all. I mean, when I got the email from Johannes, I was so flattered, so humbled. This is someone who I've admired for a long time. I admired his father's works immensely, and to be asked to sit by anyone, let alone someone of this standard, was something I'll always cherish for the rest of my life.
Well, there's a little video here that the Australian shot of when Johannes unveiled the painting for the first time to Alex. Have a look.
All right, Alex, tell me what you think. See what you think.
Oh my God. Wow.
Do you recognise yourself?
Wow, it's amazing.
Oh my God, that's so amazing.
Wonderful stuff. It's a striking painting, but the punchline in this story, as you may know, is that this painting did not even make the finalist list of the Archibald Prize. Now, Johannes, even with someone, I know you've been rejected before with your wonderful portrait of Jacinta Nampijinpa Price, and your father had a storied history of magnificent portraits being rejected by the Archibald. You must have been shocked that this one was turned down.
Oh, look, I wish I could say I was shocked, you know, but the Archibald, I suppose, as an institution, it has been largely, you know, I think it's an open secret. It's been captured by the progressive left. And so I did go into it knowing that painting Alex as a prominent Jewish Australian might not necessarily, you know, fall in line with their particular agenda. So, look, I thought that being said, it's still an important portrait prize. It's still an Australian institution, and I thought, let's give it a go. But yes, I wish I could say I was shocked. But
it's shocking, and I think when you think of the Archibalds and the portraits that are there, Alex, it would have been so fitting to have that there as testament to what Jewish Australians are going through at the moment. Do you think perhaps, apart from anything else, the gallery might have been worried that attract criticism from pro-Palestinian protesters and the like? Is that sort of weakness?
Look, we've seen this throughout the arts and the culture industry and through all spheres of society. There is this pervasive kind of groupthink. There's an approved set of views and ideology that's acceptable and one that's not acceptable. And Johannes being from the Australian newspaper, me being a proud, you know, strong Jewish leader, these don't fit within the kind of culture of these institutions. And I wish I could say that these things are entirely done on merit, whether it's the Pulitzer Prize or literary festivals and awards, the Archibald, but I think we'd be kidding ourselves if we thought that politics and ideology didn't enter into it. I think it clearly does. But again, for me personally, regardless of the outcome, it's a huge honour. But I feel for Johannes because this man is a master, and I saw the impact that his work had on the people in the room at that unveiling. We were mesmerised by it. We kept coming back to it and studying it and identifying new details and depth and, you know, analysing it. And people are stopping me in the street and praising the work. So, you know, I want Johannes to get the recognition he deserves. But fortunately through the piece in the Australian and us speaking here tonight, hopefully the people see the wonder of this work and the mastery of this man.
Yeah, look, it is extraordinary. We know that art is totally subjective. We all get that. But I mean, I think most of us looking at this portrait can see a work of art that's worthy of display, worthy of consideration, and that most Australians would like to see hanging, and they can form their own judgments on it. It seems extraordinary. Just in the interest of fairness, I better show you the portrait that won. This was by Jewry Frager. It was her portrait of her friend Justine Williams. There you go. That's the winning portrait, as opposed to the one that Johannes painted and was rejected and didn't even get a hanging. It's extraordinary stuff. People can make up their own minds about that, Johannes. But tell me about the friendship you've struck up and the common interests here with Alex, because it's driven by sympathy, or at least empathy, or a similar political output or outlook when it comes to anti-Semitism in this country. You must have been very disturbed by what you've seen the Jewish community go through over the past 18 months.
Absolutely. And I mean, I just thought in my own small way I can, draw attention to somebody who's standing there with courage and staring these people down. This sudden onslaught against the Jewish community that was coming from all angles. I mean, it's, I suppose, my way of pointing to Alex and saying, listen to this man, and it came from sheer admiration, really, for his courage and steadfastness.
Yeah, brilliant. Well done, Alex. You would not have believed how your life would have changed on the back of the horrors of October the 7th. You've just come back from a global conference in Berlin on anti-Semitism. We've got Donald Trump going to the Middle East in coming days. One more hostage to be released on the back of that. Tell us about the perspective of how your life has changed over the past 18 months.
Look, in a way, there's been very little change. I devoted myself to this cause, to writing, to speaking a long time ago, and I've been doing it for a long time. But October 7 changed everything for the entire Jewish people, and certainly for me as a professional. It took everything to whole new levels of interest and scrutiny, and it caused this kind of public examination of the Jewish question, something that has happened over and over again throughout history, and something that rarely ends well for the Jewish people. And I felt this was my time to stand up for my people. I think that in every generation we face these challenges, and if I didn't do everything in my power to defend ourselves and stand up for the values of this country, I would regret it for the rest of my life. So it's been an automatic decision and the honour of my life to defend the Jewish people at this time. Well,
I'm a great admirer of both of you, and Johannes and I catch up quite a bit. And one of the good news story out of this, you guys hadn't met before this idea for a portrait, right? Now right. You become mates, right?
That's exactly right. But we did go to school. We went to the same school.
You discovered you were
separated by 5 years or so. Yeah.
We found these commonalities, and from the minute that we met for a cup of coffee, and Johannes put the proposition to me to sit for the portrait, we just hit it off. He's a fantastic human being, and we really struck up a relationship here.
One great painting, a stupid decision by the Archibald's board, and a couple of mates, lifelong friends, no doubt. Thanks for joining us again, Alex and Johannes. Terrific stuff. I don't know much about art, but I tell you what, I know what I like, and that is one wonderful portrait.